Hello friends, and welcome to this intro video of the Precogly open source threat modeling project. If you are an application security lead or a security architect trying to scale up threat modeling in your company, you will see a familiar pattern. First, you and your team start off with open source tools, and then it works for a while, and then you realize that there are some limits to these tools. They are not as nice as the commercial tools. They do not have organization governance features. There are no team features, and the reportings are basic, and so you run into those limits. So then you start looking at the commercial closed source tools, and these are fantastic, but they have their own set of issues. For one, of course, it comes with the high sticker price and the fact that you get vendor lock-in, and that you're going to have to look at how many licenses you have, and so that comes in the way of scaling up threat modeling in your organization. And this is why we created Precogly. It is the open source alternative to commercial closed source threat modeling tools. And it comes with a number of enterprise features like organization, business unit, and team governance. You have community threat libraries. You have threat libraries that are also very compliance aware, so you could add in standards and compliance features. It's of course AI ready, and where you can actually add in your AI tools on top of Picogly. And finally, and most importantly, it's open source, so you can start hacking away at it right away and understand what's underneath the hood. So let's just take a quick drive through the tool. One of the main points of pain that we heard talking to users was that threat model systems are created, and then you need a way to share these threat modeling outputs between two different kinds of threat modeling tools. And the OWASP threat modeling bill of materials is a fantastic project, and its predecessor is the threat modeling library project. And we've built adapters to pull in any kind of threat models created in these and available in these formats, and make it available inside the Picogly threat modeling workspace. So we've just imported this popular HashiCorp Vault threat model that's available on GitHub. And I'm opening that, and so you can see that all of this was imported: the assets, the description, the components, threats, countermeasures, and this also gives you an overview of the kind of features that are there. You can connect threat models and systems and add team members. And this is our threat modeling workspace. So yellow means that some things are planned, some options to work on those are planned, and someone's been identified to work on it. And red is of course a gap, and green is verified or platform owned. And you can add additional countermeasures, and you'll also notice that you can have compliance mappings. Now this is great if you already have an existing threat model which you can work on and then export, or you could even save this kind of a JSON file and as code, and you could ship it along with your code onto a repository like GitHub. This is all great if you have a existing threat model, but if you're a new dev who's new to security and secure coding, how do you actually start creating a threat model? And our community library packs is the answer. So you will notice a bunch of packs over here. We call this AWS Mini. This is just how an AWS pack might look. But you also have different kinds of packs like compliance packs. So based on your industry or standard that you're trying to comply with, a standard could be like the OWASP top 10 or ISO or the ASVS from OWASP. As you can see, we're heavily trying to serve the needs of the OWASP community. Or you can have technology packs. And what do these packs actually contain? It's components. Components are linked to threats. Threats are then linked to various taxonomies. So CWE is a taxonomy, the MITRE ATT&CK framework is a taxonomy, Stride is a taxonomy. So you can connect the threats to those taxonomies, you can connect the threats to countermeasures, and then the countermeasures connect to requirements, which we just discussed. So you could have a requirement like the Cyber Resilience Act as requirement, or PCI DSS as requirement. And once you imported these, you get a full set of tools for your teams to begin to threat model and capture 99% of the threats out there. Even if you're using an AI to assist you to generate these threat models, it'll help because the AI has a starting off point, and so the outputs become far more reproducible. It's easier for an AI to pick from a list of threats given a set of components rather than trying to generate on the fly, in which case you get outputs that vary all the time. So once you have that, you can actually go in here and create a threat model, and in this case I'm just going to call it payment processing system, and we are up and running. We have also built a full-fledged DFT editor, and that's been one of the big asks. So but the other problem with this is, hey, I know you've got a DFT editor, but I don't want to sit down and do all of the boring drawings myself. In which case you got components, and these could be community created components. For example, over here we've got the AWS serverless component, and you could compose these components. You could also set up various kinds of trust levels for these trust zones. So here I'm going to just say that this is external, so probably it's got to be lower, and I'm going to change that color to red or orange. And I could even put in a trust boundary if I wanted to over here, and show that it's crossing a trust boundary. Our data flows have got various protocols that you can attach it to. You can also define what kind of data flows through these data flows, what kind of data is stored in these data stores. And each of these components are already coming with built-in attached threats, countermeasures, and compliance mappings. So let's see how those look. I'm just going to take a look at the analyze threat screen, where you see that we had Amazon API gateway there, and it's already linked to a couple of threats, and these threats actually have some linkages to taxonomies. So it's linked to the attack framework, the KPEC, and there's a tampering a link and CWE link. And in case you want to look it up, you could also link it to those particular entries in CWE. So here we've got the MITRE CWE link to that particular threat, or the ATT and CK link to that particular threat. Once you have that, you can do severity assessments, which eventually feeds into a bug bar. And from here, you can also look at the compliance coverages. So each of these threats have got countermeasures linked to compliances. And so this is linking to the OWASP ASVS in partial fulfillment of some of these requirements. It's helping with those. And you could change the countermeasure from gap to planned by setting somebody up as a person to take care of it. And once that is done, the advantage is that it turns from, the item will turn from red to green. As you can see over here, I'm going to just mark it someone, and it moved from being a gap to addressable. And so it's quite powerful. And in case you feel like there's way too many threats which will or components which might overwhelm users, you can also create zone protections. So if data is flowing, or an app is moving from a highly protected zone, from a low protection zone to a high protection zone, you can actually set up a zone protection. And so say you have a WAF or a API gateway, you can actually say, okay, some of these zone protections are provided upstream, and therefore downstream components don't have to worry about those countermeasures. And so that becomes less of an overwhelm for users. And of course, we also got additional risk analysis features built in, and all of this is built in coming from the TM bomb that I just imported earlier. And you could change the severity and inherent and residual risks are available, and of course reports are available. So there you have it. I've covered a number of things today, and hopefully you'll be able to go back to github.com/precogly and start downloading this code and playing around with it. We want community involvement. You can create community threat libraries, ask for additional features, work on some of the issues that crop up over there. Make this your own, make it for your own community. We hope you find this useful. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.